Welcome back, dude. How are you doing today?
I'm a little tired, but I'm all right.
Uh,
Back to 1994. How old were you in 1984, man?
94, so I would have been probably about my daughter's age right now. Probably about 12, 13, maybe. No, 11,
So,
12.
same. Yeah. So yeah, 12 and 13. So why do I bring up 1994? You say why 1994?
You know, SNICK was interesting. SNICK was a fun one. It's funny to think that there's a lot of stars who really got their stardom off of SNICK.
Yeah.
Kenan Thompson.
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean, he's on SNL now.
I think he's been there for like what 12, 13, 14. He went from all that straight to SNL.
He did all that. He did some Hollywood movies, and then he went to SNL.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right. But that's interesting though, man, because that's wild stuff, man. Where why they even created SNICK, right?
Well, it was they wanted to sort of go to the pop culture, wanting to draw the kids in, to have something more specifically towards the older kids.
So Nickelodeon at this time was it was pretty much a powerhouse because during the 80s, um, Disney was going through its own little revolution. Like 80s, the 80s Disney was a dark period. So then Nickelodeon comes in and they want to capitalize on this. So like in the 80s, Nickelodeon had their stuff big hit. From there, it just kind of steamrolled to other shows on Nickelodeon. So then after that, Disney began to grant some traction a little bit. So in the 90s, they give a lot of credit to a particular movie called The Little Mermaid for
Hmm.
really for really revitalizing Disney.
Disney
Yeah.
was starting to get Papa Little Mermaid.
Yeah, so then The Little Mermaid came around. They started making
Yeah, they
family
started doing the TGIF stuff, right?
exactly, TGIF, and that was a big one too for them, where they had shows like Family Matters.
Was that Steve Urkel?
Yeah, that was Urkel.
Okay.
And then
Was it Step by Step on that one also?
Step by Step, there you go. There's a classic one, Step by Step. And then there was, I think Perfect Strangers was on there. Well, we got to compete, but we can't compete on Friday because that TGIF is locked in. So then that's when Nickelodeon said, you know what, we got to compete somehow, but we can't compete on that same day because they're going to bury us. So then that's when they came up with SNICK, which was Saturday Night Nickelodeon.
Very, very cool. Well, you know what, dude? You know what? Before there was streaming, before streaming let us choose everything, Saturday night you know, it chose for us, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't. Now then, me personally, I didn't have cable at this time, but I know that the night at your house,
Right.
I saw a lot of those shows. So yeah, you give me a great opportunity to at least have a little bit of the childhood.
All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and introduce ourselves here and we'll go ahead and get the show rolling. So I'm Mike.
I'm Fernando Valenzuela Dominguez, or the FVD. I like that, just like my boy Rob Van Dam, FVD.
And this is Cutscenes and Clotheslines. Welcome to the show. So tonight we're taking a deep dive into the Saturday night, Friday night, weekend era culture. We're gonna probably draw up some memories and have some fun with the um, ideas and memories of what we used to live, and think about how it's changed nowadays. I mean, I watch my kiddo on the weekends, and I'm like, wait, this is not the way it used to be, and I wonder why. I mean, we still watch movies, of course, but now we can stream everything.
Yeah,
Back
man,
in
this is a time before streaming. This is a time where when something started at 7, you had to be there at 7, or
Right.
if you didn't have a VCR, you didn't know how to work the VCR, you had to be there at 7.
Or if you set up everything correctly and then your mom was like, "Oh, mijo, I'm gonna watch this on TV." Click.
Yeah, you're just like,
And then the VCR changed the channel and it recorded exactly what your mom was watching.
yeah, it was like some novela. Those are the times where you just like, I wish we had another TV. And now TVs are everywhere.
Oh yeah, on our phones, on a tablet, on our walls.
Exactly. Yeah, man. It was a time where we just had if you had one TV, it was in the
You
living
were
room,
lucky.
and it was everyone would watch that TV, and you just give me my time to watch my show. Come on, just a
Right.
couple of minutes. Come on, please.
So, so let's go ahead and let's talk about the weekend setup. You
Right.
know, Friday, we
Mhm.
get off of school.
Mhm.
I mean, I remember, it was pretty cool because we'd get off of school. Your mom would be like, "You staying at his house? Yeah, okay. Have fun, mijo. Come get your
Yeah.
stuff, and then I'll bring you back." And
Yep.
by 4:30, you were over at the house.
Yep.
And then during that time, you know, I had the little sister who always, of course, wanted to watch the TV. So we did other stuff. We played not video games. We played board games. We played.
Mhm.
I remember wars down the hallway closet with rubber bands and army men.
Yeah. We had a little army men set up, and we would just shoot at our guys to see who fell over, or
And then,
yeah.
right, and then mom gets home. We'd usually Friday nights. What would we usually do on Friday? I guess it all depended on if it was payday or not. So it wasn't a payday weekend. Normally, after 8 o'clock, we were good with the TV. Like Dawn was a bit in bed. We didn't
Mhm.
have to worry about it. We
Mhm.
had the TV to ourselves. What do you remember watching on Friday nights?
Friday night. On Fridays, they had two shows that I would watch. It was 5 on a Friday. What were we watching?
A lot of the times we watched the stuff that we had recorded on videos already.
Yeah, because your dad had a massive collection of like movies that he had
You know what?
recorded
It
on
was the
HBO, I think.
streaming of our time.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you think about it, that massive video collection that had all the movies and it had listed exactly what was in the tape. He had a book in there with
Hmm.
each movie, what was on that one.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and then I remember he made me actually cassettes with all the old like cartoons and stuff that we grew up watching. So it was like Transformers and GoBots and Jason the Wheeled Warriors. So I think a lot of the times we were watching that, at least until like, I would say probably like 9, 10 o'clock after the parents went to bed.
You
And
know
then
what I
we,
remember? One of the cartoons that was on at that time was Real Monsters. That's what it was.
oh, we'll see, that was early. Yeah, you're right. That was early Nickelodeon.
Hmm.
That was when Doug and Rugrats.
Hmm.
I don't think Rocco was in there, but Ren and Stimpy were part of those Nicktoons setup.
Hmm.
And then Rocco eventually came a little bit later.
Right. Exactly. So then I remember watching those cartoons, uh, going over your house and just laughing my ass off because this was something that I wasn't really prepared for.
It
Yeah.
was weird though because like I remember when we were that young,
Hmm.
we might have had the cable box already.
Yeah.
So we were able to even get some of those other channels and we'd get to see some of the HBO movies and stuff
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
I remember watching like Ghostbusters on there, I think.
Hmm. Yeah. There was Ghostbusters.
Um I remember pizza for dinner usually.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
You
but it wasn't like we had two different variations of pizza though. That's what I remember. I remember we had the little cube ones, those little like you wanted to
Oh,
Totino.
Totino's was the first that they were the actual square pizzas.
Those the little square ones. And
Uh-huh.
then because we were growing boys and we needed our nourishment, we had back then the legendary Bigfoot from Little Caesars.
The Little Caesars Bigfoot. Oh,
the the
I seem to
two
remember.
foot.
Yeah, I remember a weekend where it was you, me, Chris, I
Hmm.
think Aaron even maybe,
Hmm.
and it was like we ordered two of those and we went through both of them that Friday night.
Yeah, and we just stayed up all night playing video games. on the Super Nintendo that somebody, I forgot who brought the Super Nintendo, but I remember playing Clay Fighters.
Oh yeah, no, that was Chris. That was that claymation Mortal Kombat.
Yes, Claymation Mortal Kombat. Yep, it's true. It's true. Claymation Mortal Kombat and that Avengers game. I remember that. I remember that vividly because we would go through that, and man, we sucked at that game. But
Well, you know what though? I mean, we had fun with it. I mean, we
yeah,
beat it. I mean, we did beat the game. I'm sure we
eventually.
had to continue a whole bunch of times, but you know what? We beat the game because we would hand off. Like I'd be like, "Man, I'm getting tired. Here, you're next. Here, take the
Yep,
controller,"
yep,
and we
yep,
would
yep.
we would hand off. So it was really cool that we could do that.
Our thumbs would be sore as hell, but yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't remember if I had the Sega by then or not.
You know what? I don't think so.
Okay, so then it was the Nintendo, so that would
It
have
was like,
meant
yeah.
we did Zelda. I remember doing Zelda. I remember you having the like 50 in one video game thing.
Oh my god, no, that was on the old Nintendo. That was
Yeah, the
so.
NES.
So on the NES, me and my dad, we would go to Fox Plaza, which is a swap meet, and they would have these bootleg games that I I'm surprised that they would even play on the Nintendo, because now you hear about nowadays how bootlegs you have to work on specific things. Yeah, it worked perfectly on the Nintendo, and I would get
Yeah,
like
they were the first generation emulators basically.
pretty much, and they had on one cartridge they would have like 250 games, 50 games, 25, this astronomical amount of games in one cartridge. So I think, and yeah, I'd buy those games on a bootleg on a bootleg thing for like $10.
No, yeah, that's right. It's funny. I remember those games, and you know what they actually were? They were ROMs on an emulating platform basically that you would plug into
Mhm.
your NES. It
Yeah,
was it was the first version of emulators that kids
yeah.
run now,
Hmm.
which was really cool because you got multiple different versions of the same game because it was like the US version, you got the Japanese version, you got the Mexico version, you
Yeah,
got the
yeah.
German version, and it was like
Hmm.
three or four different games, but it was all the same game.
Hmm.
So it really was a neat system. I mean, of course, I understand, NES being NES and saying, "Hey, we're losing money because you're doing this." Of course.
Yeah, yeah,
But
but nobody cared.
yeah, well, but at that time, Law and Order against piracy.
Licensing.
There you go. Licensing. Yeah.
Licensing, yeah.
It was more of a freer era before that actually started happening where they started cracking down on the bootlegs and stuff.
Exactly, yeah. Even though you could still get some bootleg stuff.
I used to in Orlando. When I was out there on the Disney College program, oh my God, I'd go to the not swap meet. It's like the flea market out there.
Oh,
It was great. The videos were great quality. I mean,
hmm,
for what the guy sold, it was great stuff. And you know what? He's doing what he needs to. He's recouping the cost of his discs. That's it.
uh,
He wasn't charging extravagant amounts. All he's doing is recouping the cost. Now, what
right,
he did, how he got the movies, that's his business. But I
yeah,
will I will help him because he's a vendor,
yeah.
And then of course a couple months down the road, when I came back the next time in Disney, he
Hmm.
wasn't there anymore.
But like here in El Paso, we have like the three major flea markets.
I really didn't get to experience those very much in El Paso when I was growing up. We went every once in a while. I went with my dad a couple
Yeah,
times and stuff, but
yeah,
that was because my dad
yeah.
was going looking for specific things for
Hmm.
the TV and for the radio and stuff like
Right,
that.
right.
That's how I learned about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And to look for games or look for stuff. And when we were at the swap meets, I remember we would always get the elotes. And
Oh,
what I mean by elotes, it's corn, and it's shredded corn in a cup, mixed in with butter, with cheese. and the sour cream stuff. Oh, it was the
Oh,
best.
dude, you know what?
It
That's
was the.
Pavlov. We're talking Pavlov right now. My mouth is watering. Oh, that
I love it,
was,
man.
and I remember that for Friday nights.
Mm,
Man, I remember, yeah, most of the time I remember it being Blockbuster. I seem to think I remember going to the video stores a lot. So we did a lot of the Blockbuster stuff. So we would rent like the movies or, oh, I remember Family Matter. I remember Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince was on Mondays.
I know it was Mondays, but I think they would show them on like during the daytime or something too,
Oh,
like a
you're talking about
reruns.
like the reruns?
Yeah,
Maybe,
they were
but
showing, but like syndicate wise, oh yeah. Once again, it goes back to the Nickelodeon thing. I
right,
remember Nick at Night.
right.
That's what I remember is Friday night was Nick at Night. So you
Hmm.
had after 6 o'clock, it was the older shows. So I remember watching like Hogan's Heroes.
Yeah, Hogan's Heroes. I think I Dream of Genie was on there too.
Yeah, I remember I Dream of
Um,
Genie. Bewitched. I think the
Bewitched. Was Newhart on
Newhart
SNICK?
was
Was
on
on?
there. Yeah, he was on there, but he was later. He was like around 10 o'clock.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's like they got into some of the older ones like at around 10. So like Bob Newhart, which were ones that at that age I didn't understand until I was older and watched them.
Right.
It was like, oh man, this was hilarious back then. I remember Dick Van Dyke, of course, that was
Hmm.
hilarious.
Hmm. Yeah, that was like a staple on Nick at Night. Was I Love Lucy?
Yeah. Mhm.
Definitely, definitely, yeah.
Do you remember Get Smart?
Gets- yeah, yeah. I remember Get Smart.
And then they had another one, Dragnet.
Dragnet was one. I
Now,
remember Dragnet.
okay, now here's the thing about Dragnet though. It's funny.
Mm,
Character from Dragnet, Harry Morgan.
okay.
You recognize the name Harry Morgan?
Mm, somewhat.
Okay. Think my dad had 6 or 7 different videos of the same show, and it wasn't Star Trek.
Was it MASH?
Yes, sir. Harry Morgan was Colonel Potter.
No shit.
Yeah, he played one of the characters in Dragnet too. That was one of his earlier shows
Okay.
before he did MASH.
Nick at Night was on Friday, and then TGIF was on ABC. What else was going on at that time on Friday?
CBS had some also.
Oh, but CBS at the time was like they were like being like the old people's network.
They had a lot of the like the news ones, like they had 60 Minutes and stuff like that,
I think
right?
60 Minutes was still on Sundays, but they had like I think they still had like Murder She Wrote.
Oh, well, you can't, dude. No, you can't really diss Murder She Wrote. That one was a pretty good one.
I'm not dissing Murder She Wrote. I'm just saying that like for a
But
long time CBS on Friday nights was considered to be like for old people. Walker, oh man, good old Chuck.
speaking
R.I.P.
of
Chuck
Chuck
Norris.
Norris, rest in peace, Chuck Norris.
Yeah,
You
true,
know,
true that. But
but
Walker, I think may have been on there.
I think it was just starting right around that time frame.
Murphy
Okay,
Brown was on there. Dr.
Murphy
Quinn
Brown.
Medicine Woman. And,
Okay, Dr. Quinn
yeah,
was one my mom watched. So and
yeah.
she loved that one. So usually we ended up watching Dr. Quinn, and then she liked Walker, and that was one my grandmother loved. Oh,
Hey, it's that beard, man. It's that beard.
it must be, man. That must be why she liked mine so much. Of course, she'd grab it, yank it, and tell me you need to shave that thing, but that's beside the point. Chicago Hope. Which one was that?
Chicago
Oh, that
Hope.
was a hospital one.
That was the hospital one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah. So see, it usually depended on who had the channel that night.
So yeah, I don't remember much of NBC. I remember Fox at that time. 94 Fox. It was still early Fox, so I'm not too sure if they had Cops. Was on Friday nights. America's Most Wanted, I think, was on Fox at that time too.
Right. Remember, it's Fox Friday night TV show.
Yeah, Fox Friday night. That's right. They had a show that I loved because it had my boy Bruce Campbell in it. It was The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. I loved that show. That show was great. That
there you
show
go. See,
that show was ahead of
okay.
its time. It was a Western mixed in with sci-fi.
I remember
Yeah,
it's funny because you mentioned Bruce Campbell, and that makes me think of Evil Dead.
that's why I loved it, because Bruce Campbell was my
Was
introduction
that
to
the show
horror.
he started in? Like, was that one of his first things?
It was after Evil Dead. He did some movies like Maniac Cop and some other things. And this was the introduction of Bruce Campbell on a wider range. It's
Right.
not fans there; it's a cult.
Right.
Bruce Campbell's the man, though. I love Bruce Campbell, and when I saw him in Evil Dead, I loved Bruce Campbell from that moment. Like, he was my dude. And then he did this show called The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. I was like, wait, Ash Williams is doing a show? And I watched that show religiously, and I forgot that was 94.
I told you I remembered Mantis being somewhere on there.
Exactly, Mantis, and then it ended with the X-Files. That was Friday night. That was Friday night on Fox, was the X-Files.
Okay.
Yep.
I remember going over there and watching like movies. But there really wasn't like a whole lot of like sit down sitcom TV. Usually that was at like my grandma's house.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we'd end up spending the night there, we'd end up watching these shows with my grandma.
Mm-hmm.
So, and with my grandma, it usually wasn't a remote control war. She had the power. It was okay, grandma, you know. But that's how I saw some of these shows, and she liked them. Like, that's how I ended up watching Walker, Texas Ranger, and getting to fall in love with that character. I love, I love Chuck Norris's character.
It's Walker, then Lone Wolf McQuade.
Where was somewhere I remember Kung Fu?
Kung Fu?
Yeah.
Oh man, Kung Fu. That was
Kung Fu: The Legend Continues. It might have been the second.
Oh man, whoa, okay.
remake.
So let's pedal back a little bit. So during the 90s, there was a lot of syndication. So like during the 90s, you had a flurry of shows that would run this syndication. So they didn't have a specific time slot. They would have, like for example, one show, Babylon 5.
Yeah.
Babylon 5 was a great sci-fi show that was in syndication. I remember watching that show on Saturdays on Fox. It was syndicated on Fox. That's what I remember.
Okay.
And then you had another show like another show that was syndicated that was huge was Hercules: The Legendary Journeys with Kevin Sorbo.
Okay.
And then the spin-off of that, of course, was another massive show, Xena, Warrior Princess.
I remember that one as well, yes. I remember that being on UPN, if I remember correctly.
UPN used to be considered, well, they were like a smaller network. So UPN, and you had UPN and the WB.
Okay.
So UPN was from Paramount and the WB was Warner Brothers, of course.
Okay.
And UPN would have some syndicated shows, but they had their own network shows. And one of those shows was indeed the one that you just mentioned right now. They had some weird shows on UPN.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. They had some great ones. I mean, Highlander. They had.
Well, I think they had Highlander on that one, and then they had another show that was with Christopher Lloyd, and it was this weird. Oh my god, what was this? It was a weird show because it was about these. If I remember correctly, I think a guy that creates a video game. The video game characters get out and they start running amok in the real world, and it had Christopher Lloyd in it. Oh my goodness, UPN. That was definitely a UPN show. And he played the main bad guy, and he would have his henchmen jump from the video game onto, that's what it was, Deadly Games.
Ooh,
Deadly
wow.
Games.
Okay, you know what? I've got to do some research on that one because I do not recall that one at all.
So yeah, it was, I think it only played for one season. It was in 95. 95, 96, and he
so
played.
We're still talking about that same era as
SNICK
same era stuff. So
he played the Jackal. That was the character's name, the Jackal. Yeah,
It's funny, dude. In the middle of all that chaos, and still Nickelodeon somehow they made Saturday night feel like like a main event. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they really it was a thing for kids our age. Um, I remember going into uh, watching Clarissa Explains It All. That one was the perfect show for that time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Um, and then, do you remember Pete and Pete?
Pete and Pete had the best intro song.
I loved it.
that
I
that
and
song,
it was so indie.
iconic. You can't have that show without that song. That show and
Do you know
song.
the name of the band who actually did it? I think I do. If you wanna verify it for me, I think their name was called the Polaris or Polaris.
Let me see. Pete and Pete theme. Yeah, Polaris. Look at you.
Oh yes.
Look at you, man. That's that's
Wow.
great. Good memory. Good memory.
Talk about a Rolodex of useless fucking knowledge, right?
No, but that song is so iconic. So iconic. You just can't have that.
Exactly.
Yeah, you just can't have that song without the
It's
show.
funny
Yeah.
because I've heard it in a couple of the like meme videos and stuff that my kid watches, and I hear it and I'm just like, oh, Pete and Pete. It was a great show. It was really I liked the way it flew, how it sort of broke that fourth wall.
Mm-hmm.
I like those shows that break the fourth wall like that. Like Clarissa Explains It All was the same type.
Yeah, before Deadpool, we had Clarissa Explains It All. Yep.
And then, of course, you had Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy was the absolute most oddball show I had ever seen in my life, and it was great.
And it was
Great.
hilarious.
Yes.
The whole
So
thing
quotable.
about the Chihuahua, this little hyper Chihuahua, and I have one, and they are that way. Except mine's pretty cute. She's actually pretty good. As long as she knows you, she'll
anyway.
she'll sit in your lap. If you give her treats, you're her best friend.
Yeah, but Ren and Stimpy, oh my god, it's so quotable. As soon as you say it's log, people know exactly what the hell you're talking about. Exactly.
Oh yeah. There was a video that I was watching. I think it might have been a TikTok video actually. There was a video that had multiple. It was like a song binding. They put a whole bunch of different songs together, and then when they did that, when you listen to it, my brain can pick out certain songs at certain points, and if I can focus on it just right, I can hear that specific song until it is gone. And that song just kept popping up in this meme video, and I'm like, oh wow, like that's log.
Yes. It's just so iconic. Like you say, log, and every millennial that grew up there during that time just instantly knew what that was.
They knew exactly what it was.
They knew exactly what it was. Exactly. So yeah, Ren and Stimpy, and there was a show that I didn't recognize was on there too. As I'm looking over some of the lineup, there was a show called Roundhouse.
So Roundhouse was sort of like the first version of all that.
Gotcha. Okay.
It was actually it was a little too smart for people, I think.
Okay.
It's definitely one of those where it was sort of like all that, where they did the skit type comedy, but they sort of did the whole show based on one specific style. So like it was like family or friendship and stuff. And then these kids were actually very good. They were good dancers and musicians and singers.
Okay.
So they didn't do the live music, or they didn't bring performers in, but they were only on there for like a couple seasons, maybe like 1 or 2. And then all that came in. All that blew up.
Yeah. Like you said, a lot of people came out from all that. Like you're saying, Keenan and Cal was the big one. Those are the big two that came out of that show.
You know what I think of all that though? I see it as the Saturday Night Live for us, for kids our age, that time.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. That was that skit comedy, just like Saturday Night Live, that we fell in love with.
The ones that I remember off the top of my head, of course, the big one was Mad TV.
Okay, that was one. Was that Friday night or was that Saturday night?
That may have been Saturday. I think they're trying to compete with SNL at that time.
So they're okay. See, and that's exactly what SNICK was doing, which is great because that's what they were competing with those channels and put a little bit more challenge on those channels and those stations.
And then before Mad TV, they had another show hosted by John Leguizamo called House of Buggin'.
See, I don't remember that one.
Yeah, it didn't do too well. It wasn't great. Although he had a memorable skit that I will always love that I thought it was pretty funny. Was this skit where it was these cholos, all these hardcore cholos, they're gonna get into a fight with one of the gangs from West Side Story.
Oh my gosh!
It was hilarious because like you had these guys dressed up as a greaser, and like that's how they came out. They came out snapping the fingers like sharks,
almost like the Outsiders type thing.
Exactly. So then the lead cholo was Luis Guzman. It was played by Luis Guzman.
Nice. Okay.
And he was like, are we gonna fight? And then like they would bust down to dance. They're like, a rumble, a rumble, a rumble. So that
wow.
And it was funny. That was great.
I don't remember that one. No, it was
And then before that, there was another show.
Jim Carrey was on it.
Yep, In Living Color.
Thank you. That was the one. Okay.
In Living Color was fantastic.
So
In Living Color, yeah, that was the one that launched.
All that might have been one of those to compete with In Living Color.
Oh, In Living Color was controversial though, like really controversial. Well, they went to places that SNL didn't go.
They sort of just took it to a little more extreme level. They were willing to take it to a little more extreme level, which was worth it.
I remember they would do a lot of parody songs. Right. They parodied MC Hammer. They parodied Michael Jackson. I remember Snow. Remember Snow? The white rapper from Canada. The what song was it? Informer.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Jim Carrey parodied that song.
Oh, wow.
And there was a skit where Tommy Davidson, he did that song. Remember when Michael Jackson did Black or White? I think it was the name of the song.
The song Black or yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So Tommy Davidson, he did a skit or a parody of that song where he was doing the same thing as like Al, but he would say, "Am I black or am I white?" And they're like, "We don't know." And it was parodying Michael Jackson. At the end of that skit, though, there was a scene where he's bashing in a car, and all of a sudden this cop comes by and he's like, "Come down," and he arrests him. And at the end, he says, and I quote, "I guess I am black." And then they carry him off.
Oh my gosh! See, but it's funny though if you think about it though, because those were on Fox, correct?
That was a Fox show, yeah.
Okay, yep. So if you think about it, on Fox, it really Fox really had more of an extreme level. They really did. They pushed it because even Mad TV was that way.
Married with Children really pushed the envelope too, because like.
But Married with Children was your typical white family.
I mean, okay, I want you to think about any shows before Married with Children that were like Married with Children. I can only think of one.
The Jeffersons?
Or actually two. Okay, three. I'll give you three. 3 shows that were like that. The Jeffersons. Then there was All in the Family with Archie Bunker.
That was going to be my next one. Was All in the Family.
And then the third one was Sanford and Son.
Yeah. Okay.
So then you had those 3 shows. You had these, very family
oriented.
Yeah. Full House was one.
Oh, Full House was great though.
Yeah, but I mean, it was around that same time too. I think it was on TGIF, in fact.
Okay.
Full House, and Family Matters were, I think, back to back. You had these family-friendly shows.
They're very family friendly, but see if that's ABC though, right?
Yeah, that's ABC. So then Fox was like, we're completely different.
ABC at the time.
Well, they hadn't bought Disney yet. Disney bought ABC. Disney. ABC. Yeah, I think it was around that time.
Okay, wow. I thought it was earlier because I remember Sunday nights on ABC, the Disney movie usually The do 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 do, and seeing the castle and the fireworks come out and Cinderella there fly through, and yeah.
96. It was 96.
So they bought it in 96. Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was earlier too, but I think at that time though, I think they might have like a contract at that time where they would show The Wonderful World of Disney contractually had a thing going on at the time.
Buy
Yeah,
'em.
yeah, they had those Disney specials on ABC, and eventually ABC was just bought out by Disney.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow, 96. Wow, I thought it was a lot. I thought I made him 94, 95, but 96. Wow, okay, all right. Well, there you go. 96. So yeah, so then we had this merger, and then from there on out, we had Disney on ABC. So like a lot of the shows, again, that TJF became more family friendly. Of course, when you had, I think Full House was still in that time too. Family Matters was a big one, of course.
Okay. See, yeah, I know. I definitely do remember Family Matters. That one was
Yeah.
definitely a big one.
Oh, so then after they took over, that's when you see this switch of ABC Saturday morning cartoons. They had.
Oh yeah, no, they had some definitely ones. I seem to remember like Back to the Future cartoons.
That was CBS.
Something. Oh,
that was CBS.
Okay.
I vividly remember that was CBS, but I remember ABC when they had the Mighty Ducks.
Okay.
They had
that would make a lot of sense.
The Cowboys of Moo Mesa.
Yes. Okay.
And my boy Darkwing Duck was on that one.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Yep.
Because
yeah.
And I remember those on the Disney Channel later after the purchase happened. So this would have been 97, 98 when they started showing them on the Disney Channel on the reruns.
Yep.
So
yeah.
But even like with SNICK, that one was that was another that Saturday night thing. Like I remember Are You Afraid of the Dark? That one was the greatest show.
Yeah, it was our Twilight Zone.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's what it was. Exactly what it was.
Now, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Do you remember the episodes?
The one I vividly remember was the Firehouse one.
Okay. Did that one have the guy with the beard? He was always like the mad professor type character.
No, it was like a haunted firehouse.
Okay.
And it was inhabited by, and the makeup was creepy as fuck. It was really good.
Was that the one where he tells him like not to stare at the fire? I think if I remember correctly.
That one always creeped me out because
the kid stares at the fire. And fire ends up happening later on.
Yeah, something like that. It was like he had like some sort of pyrokinesis or something like that.
Right. That was one of those weird shows that, I wonder because they're sort of like say, oh, here, kids, we're going to show you all these funny shows, hilarious shows, happy shows, and then we're going to show you this right before you go to bed. How fucked up is that? Our parents wonder why we have so much fucking trauma now.
No, the trauma I blame the 80s. There's only one thing I got to say. One movie I got in particular I got to say.
Optimus Prime does not count.
No.
And no, we're not going to the Littlefoot movie. No.
All I got to say is Never Ending Story. Anyway, moving on.
You know what? Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, what do we think about that? What do we really think about that? You get the crowd's approval.
Thank you.
All you have to say is Artex.
Exactly. We'll get there eventually.
You know what? Maybe this next episode, we'll talk about movies like that.
That gave us childhood trauma?
Yeah. I think that might be a good idea for the next episode.
Absolutely. But no, like going back to SNICK though, SNICK was it was an event. It really was an event for us. We just didn't have that shows at the time. So
yeah.
So like when you're talking about SNICK, you're talking about, all that, where the humor, was it offbeat? Yeah. But that was our type of humor. Yeah, it was clean. Innocent. And there wasn't any dirty intentions there, but it was just like it was funny. It was funny.
No, exactly. See, and it's funny, if you talk about Nickelodeon,
Mhm.
like I remember you can't do that on television.
Yeah,
And that
exactly.
one was, if to me it was hilarious. I loved it. But I had friends who didn't like it. They were like, It's dumb." And I'm like, "What do you mean? Like, this is funny comedy."
I always thought it was genius. I always thought
Yeah.
it was genius.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know, and then the slime.
exactly. And
That right there.
that became a Nickelodeon staple.
Used it in all that a couple times.
Yeah, it was their thing. It was their trademark. That's what started it all with the slime. Was you can't do that on television.
I'm surprised they didn't include that on SNICK. I think that would have been a great SNICK
Well,
show.
it was the first comedy skit kid show.
Yeah, but the funny part about it was very early in the morning that I remember that show being on.
It was on Saturdays, right? It was on Saturdays.
I remember it like all week long. Like, usually it was an episode every day. But
You know what the funny thing is? It was Canadian.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was a Canadian show.
Oh, how dare those Canucks! How dare they? So yeah, like that. Oh man, 79. Look at that.
Yeah, I know. That one was an older show. It was a much older show. I think they had lost the rights to it. That show wasn't being produced anymore. Was.
Oh, because you know why? Because it was actually okay. So they never had the rights to the show. They only had the rights to broadcast it on Nickelodeon, but they never had it because it was a Canadian produced show in another Canadian channel. So this channel would lend the United States this show, and we still got the slime. They still kept the slime.
Yeah, no, exactly. They were able to keep
Wow.
the slime idea. That was one of the first skit comedy type shows like SNL.
Mhm.
I don't remember that late at night. I remember that one being early in the morning.
It ran from CTV, which is the Canadian broadcast TV, from 79 to 90, and
Okay, that
Nickelodeon from
explains it.
81 to 90. So yeah, wow.
I think if it had kept going, then I think that Nickelodeon might have been able to keep it going. I think it definitely would have been on the SNICK lineup. I think they would.
So when I see this timeline, I think that's why they came up with this show, Roundhouse, or even
Mhm.
all that,
All that, yeah.
because yeah, so they lost that show, and it wasn't produced anymore, so they didn't have the license to the name, but they had this.
But
They had the slime.
idea. Yeah,
They had the slime.
idea.
They had the idea. So it's like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and go with all that. This just brand new skit show for kids.
Right. See, and it's funny because, Nickelodeon and stuff, they SNICK, what's the one thing that they all had in common?
If you really want to look at it, it was just like kind of like that rebellious nature that they had.
Yeah. Play the same way everybody else did.
Exactly. Remember the Secret World of Alex Mack?
Oh. Did you like any? Be honest.
Mhm.
Did you have a crush on her?
Who didn't?
See,
Seriously,
it's funny. I didn't.
really?
No.
Not your type?
No. You know why? You know
Why,
why?
man?
You know who I had the crush on?
Who?
Was the Melissa Joan Hart.
Well, I mean, well, yeah.
Like she was beautiful. Like she was the way she acted and the way she blew up. She did Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Mm-hmm.
My wife and daughter love that show. I love watching it when they're watching it, and I groan about it all the time. But I love watching it. It's great. It's funny. It's very innocent comedy with that little flair thrown in.
Mm-hmm.
And she portrays those type of characters just so well.
The Secret World of Alex Mack was one of those shows. I was just like, dang, that was a fun show too. That was a really fun show.
Seeing Ren and Stimpy, that one was just one of those shows that was odd, but it was just odd enough to keep you involved and keep you really drawn in.
And that's my sense of humor. My sense of humor is odd.
Exactly.
Who thinks this long is funny? They did. And I was like, yes, that's hilarious. That's funny.
Yeah. And then think about the whole the cat eating cat litter thing.
Yes.
It's odd, but it is freaking hilarious. So you got to think about it. think about the commercials at the time. What type of commercials did we used to see during that time?
The Super Soaker commercial. I remember. I remember the Super Soaker commercials.
Ah, yes. Okay.
And
what
then,
else?
Crocodile Mile. Remember Crocodile Mile?
Was that the slip and slide one?
Yeah, you run, you slide, you hit the
yeah.
pump, you take a dive. It's Crocodile Mile. Yeah.
Yeah, where it had the big old crocodile mouth at the end with the flaps hanging down and the
Yep.
sprayers behind it. I seem to remember someone sliding off one of those in my backyard.
Sliding off?
Yeah, they went too hard. And they hit the bump, and they actually like missed the thing hard enough where they slid over the landing pool.
Are you serious?
Yes.
It wasn't me. I don't recall that. That wasn't me.
I want to say it was one of my cousins or something, and they hit a bump. They hit that bump and just went over too much.
Over? That's great.
But the worst part about that thing though was
What's up?
After it was laid out all summer, you take it up and pull it out, and there's this big old strip of dead grass because they didn't get any sun. There was nothing, and my dad would be like, "Well, yeah, we sort of knew that was going to happen, and
Yep.
he'd reseed it, and by the next summer, it was green and beautiful again. Usually, it was he would pull it up every week, to let the grass grow, and then he'd put it down the following week, let it down.
Yep.
Or he'd got to the point where he said, "Okay, you guys are old enough. Start picking it up and putting it away every night."
yeah. And oh my God, what are the commercials were?
What did they do during that time? You know what they were? They were, "Hey, kid, go tell your parents to buy you this. You need this. You need to get this."
Yeah,
they were
the
world investing in us.
Yeah, because we always wanted that stuff. I always wanted a Super Soaker. I mean, I eventually got a Super Soaker, but
I seem to remember getting sprayed in the face at Wet and Wild one time by somebody with a Super Soaker.
It kind of hurt, didn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I got nailed right at the corner edge of my eye, and this was one of those where the kid had put pressure behind it.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I was like, "Oh man, the fucker shot me in the eye."
Yeah. Well deserved. Like, fuck that guy. He shot me in the eye. Fuck you, bro. That's fair, man.
It's like the first time I heard my daughter say the word fuck.
How old was she?
She was 3. Oh yeah, that is a story that yeah, no, it was.
That's funny.
That's the thing, these commercials. I remember a lot of the board game commercials. What was the one? The Crossfire, I think it was.
Crossfire. You're the
Uh-huh.
Have you actually, did you ever play Crossfire?
One of us owned it.
One of us owned it? Oh, it wasn't me. It was probably you then.
Then it was probably me. I remember playing it. It was fun, but it was sort of a pain in the ass because you had to put it all together, and then by the time you got together, you didn't want to play anymore. I remember the commercials from the game. I believe the name of the game was called Battle Master. Do you remember that one?
Battle Master?
Okay, the board was a fold-out mat. It was like a 3 feet by 3 feet mat.
Okay.
And the pieces were like D&D pieces. It was like your first hexagon D&D piece, but they were big.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And you had this makeshift castle or tower
that was in the middle.
That had a cannon.
Yes.
And then you had your orcs, your ogres, your wolf riders, and one massive champion ogre.
Big champ. Yep.
Yes, I remember that. Yes,
I remember the commercials from those. The watching them set up, and you're seeing them play out as these kids are playing on the little, picture in picture. It was the first time you really saw picture in picture.
Right. Oh man, yeah. Yeah, that's wild. That
I
was like
mean,
the intro into D&D, or even Warcraft or Warhammer.
Warcraft, yeah, Warhammer, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Warhammer. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I remember
Hmm.
with it, because I mean D&D, don't get me wrong, D&D is fun. It's, I do miss playing D&D. My kid likes to play it, but it's hard to get her and her friends to actually sit
Sit
down and
down.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
So it was fun. I mean, with us at that age, we didn't have the phones attached to our hands 24/7.
True.
And that's what made the difference, was the fact that we see it as, these kids having the phones in their hands all the time.
Yeah. And we had this thing called, imagination,
Yeah, the
where
imagination has really um changed, I guess
hmm
you could say.
hmm I'll say it.
But
We've become dumber. I'll say it. We've gone dumber. It's just the way it is.
we need technology to sort of like disappear for a little while. So we can get their imaginations back so they can critically think again.
Yeah. Yeah. We need to just scale it back. That's what I'm
Because
saying.
now they want to watch something, I can just watch the full season, not a problem. And they binge watch it, and that's all they watch for
Hmm.
like a day.
Hmm.
And right now, my wife, she's watching the one on Netflix, Wednesday,
Hmm.
and she's into it. She's watching it.
Yeah.
But during that time in the 90s for us, during that time, if you didn't see it on Friday or Saturday night, you
You missed it.
missed it, and you couldn't talk about it at school because you
Yeah.
didn't know what happened.
Well, I mean, that's the one thing that I think appreciate streaming services,
Yeah.
is that you do have that opportunity to go back and watch shows. Like, for example, like I recently watched Firefly, and there were some
Oh,
episodes of Firefly that I did miss.
see,
So
I
then I
have that one on
rewatched it.
hard copy.
Yeah, I rewatched it, and there's things that you miss, and there are things that pop up.
MASH.
Yeah,
You
MASH is one
know,
of those shows.
that's one of those
Although,
shows I watched as a kid that age,
mhm,
and then
but did you understand it at that age?
I didn't, and I didn't
Yeah,
understand the
exactly.
comedy
Yeah.
behind what I heard the laughter, and
Hmm.
my dad would laugh about it, but I didn't understand why.
Hmm.
When I became older and I started watching it again, I would pick up on things, and I'm like, oh, Alan Alda, you dirty fucking bastard.
Oh, Hawkeye, you.
It's like, oh my
Yeah,
God, like
yeah,
this guy he was a dog.
yeah.
But
Yep.
in all actuality, if you watch the growth of his character, Count
Frankie Pearson.
Chocula in the show, I mean, it's 11 seasons. It's one of the most known sitcoms.
Hmm.
If you watch that growth of character on him, he really does become a humble person.
And eventually it becomes that heartbreaking, when he's in the hospital and he has that breakdown. It was that baby.
So that was the
Yeah.
very final episode, the farewell, goodbye, farewell, and amen.
Yeah, it was that full circle moment.
You think about shows like that, like with what we watched with, like with SNICK, with all that. Watch
Hmm.
the development of some of these characters, like Keenan and Kel. You
Hmm.
know, Keenan, his development into the SNL world was he's done a great job. He's a wonderful actor.
Yeah.
Kel, him in the whole Good Burger thing, that was it. I don't remember him in a whole lot of much else after Good Burger.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, unfortunately, I think their career paths went two different ways. They had the Keenan and Kel show.
Yeah. So yep,
Yeah.
exactly. See, and then you had other characters, like you had, I think, Amanda
Amanda
Burns?
Bynes.
Bynes. Yeah, Amanda Bynes. And she broke out,
Oh
had
wow.
her own show on Nickelodeon for a
The
while
Amanda
too.
Show. Yeah, the Amanda
Yeah.
Show.
Those were shows that Victoria watched growing up,
Mm-hmm.
which
The
is,
Amanda Show. Dancing
yeah.
Lobsters. The Dancing
See,
Lobsters.
oh, see, but then it goes back to like those commercials. They were always advertisements for what we needed. you
Yeah.
know, but they played it well. They played it smart.
I still remember Slimer High C, that
Oh yes.
green Slimer High C, the
Do
most
you remember the
disgusting
taste
stuff in
of
the
that?
world. Yes, it was shit. It was crap.
Wow.
It was not a great taste. That's what I remember. I remember having it.
Hold on, you want to talk about that? Let's talk about an oldie because I mean this one came back from the way earlier ages, but it was still around during that time, and we'd see the commercials.
Mhm.
The Frankenberry cereal,
Frankenberry. Yeah,
the Count
Frankenberry.
Chocula cereal.
Count Chocula. Yep.
Uh-huh. I remember eating those growing up. I didn't get much of it because, being diabetic,
Mhm.
I was sort of stuck with Kix. But I remember the Kix commercials.
My cereal of choice, and it was horrendous. I look back on it, I'm like, oh, that's the cereal I blame for this body. is
Oh, you have a great body, sir. No,
is
no. Hey, oh, wait a second. Hold on. No, no. Let's let everybody. What is Fernie's body? What do we think? The crowd agrees. See, there you
That's
go.
bullshit.
The crowd agrees. Please don't say Wheaties.
But I ate religiously. And no. Oh no, Wheaties. I would have a better body than I do right now. But I definitely ate a lot and too much of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ones. That was
Oh,
It had these marshmallows in it. It had a lot of marshmallows in it.
yep. It was.
I love the Ninja Turtles. I had to have the cereal, and the cereal. I'm not gonna lie, it was good, but it was so bad for you. It was terrible.
Wow. So now we said we were going to come back to this, and after midnight TV,
Boobs. A lot.
boobs. You know what I do? HBO. I remember the HBO.
Skinamax.
Yeah, I remember.
Skinamax era. Yep.
I remember having to watch it with the sound turned down. I think about it, and I'm like, "Ooh, it was there." But the worst thing about it was the fact that my dad had that box, which gave us the pay-per-view channel access.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would see the movies there. So I mean, we caught a lot of different movies. We saw some of the scarier movies during that time. You know, I think we might have even seen Evil Dead on HBO one of those times. It was
Maybe. I think so, but
I do remember those adult movies at the end of the night. I
Mhm.
I even remember them on USA a little bit.
USA had a show called Up All Night.
Yeah.
And it was hosted by, oddly enough, Gilbert Godfrey and a Playboy playmate named Rhonda Shear.
Oh wow.
And so they would play B movies. It was on USA Network. It was these movies that they would play on USA Network, but they would cut out all the nudity.
Right.
So then, when it wasn't there, it would go to Cinemax, and Cinemax notoriously became Skinamax.
Yep.
So then, one movie I particularly remember was called The Bikini Car Wash Company.
Oh, dude, I remember that one. There was another one that you introduced me to also that we ended up watching on TV.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't remember the name of that. Something. It started with an E.
Emmanuel. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So
it was one of those style movies.
A little bit of the background on that. So back in the 1960s and the 70s, there was this character that I forgot who created her, but it was a series of books, and Emmanuel was supposed to be the most sensual woman in the world. So she would have her erotic adventures or whatever, and eventually they started making these movies, these low budget movies, and it was always played by somebody different, always this beautiful woman. And I remember that's when I was first introduced to Krista Allen. Now, if you don't know who Krista Allen is, if you have you seen the movie Liar Liar?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
The girl in the elevator.
Oh, okay.
That's all I have to say.
Gotcha.
So yeah, she played Emmanuel in a series called Emmanuel in Space, a miniseries on Skinamax at that time. And yeah, she would come out nude, and I was just in love. I was obsessed. Yes, I
Yeah,
was, because she was.
you were in love with her.
I thought she was just drop dead gorgeous. So yeah,
That wallpapers on your phone,
yeah,
if you had a
yeah,
phone back then, I remember your
yes,
infatuation with that character.
yeah. Krista Allen was, oh my god, so drop dead gorgeous, so gorgeous.
You also liked the one from Dark Angel.
Jessica Alba.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jessica Alba. Yeah,
yeah,
and I mean,
of
don't get me
course.
wrong, Jessica Alba is great. I mean, she was gorgeous.
She still is.
Oh yeah,
Still is.
no, completely.
Still is.
I completely agree.
Watching her and just like I was just being, oh my god, who is this? Who is this girl? Just drop dead gorgeous.
See, in the late stuff, the late stuff for me, I I really don't remember a whole lot, and I guess it's sort of where I'm a little weird in that where I would get bored with the TV, so I'd I'd go and read comic books. I remember the commercials and stuff from the late stuff when you guys would be watching TV and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
But like the dirty stuff on Cinemax, I remember it was like, you know what? A girl showed her boobs. Okay, I'm sure back then I thought it was amazing. I thought it was great, But nowadays it's like, I
Yeah,
have that
well,
right here.
yeah, because we're old.
It's
Yeah, we're older
great.
now. We're older now. So it's like, ooh, boobs, boobs, boobs. we were kids.
Being
We were
that
kids.
being that 12, 13-year-old kid who's
Yeah.
in middle school, and I mean, I don't know how you had it, but I saw the same girls every year. So to me, it was like I watched these girls grow up from 5th through 8th grade, as I grew
Yeah.
up with them.
There were those girls too, and from elementary school all the way up to high school, I was just like, it's like, good for them.
I'm like,
Good
yeah.
for them.
Was I brave enough to talk to them? Heck no.
Nope, not at all.
Definitely not.
I was a pussy.
Now here's the thing to ask though is, do you think that SNICK today would work in today's world with streaming?
With streaming? Oh man, I mean, I think is that because when you look at that humor, it was oddball. It was an oddball sense of humor. It was offbeat. There was no malintentions in it. It was just just to be silly, just to be funny. So when you think of today's climate, I mean, I look at it and I'm just like, could that offbeat, oddball humor work with today? I don't know. I mean, that's a good question.
It was a culture too, if you really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
So how would that compare to the social media culture today and the streaming culture today? Because it wasn't just shows. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, SNICK was this time period where that was dedicated to preteen, early teenagers, even
Right.
into 16, 17-year-olds, because some of us would still watch shows like Ren and Stimpy when they would show it on there as a Christmas special, type thing.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
So would that type of culture still work today?
That's an interesting question.
Kids programming, but it became more of a ritual.
Well, yeah, because they spoke to us. That's what it is. They spoke to us because they understood, our sense of humor. They understood at that time that we weren't politically driven. We weren't, we weren't concerned about that stuff. That's why they could get away with that stuff, because it was stuff that kids would think. We didn't care what was going on. I mean, shoot, they were talking about greenhouse effects and all this stuff. I didn't care. I didn't care. I just wanted to laugh.
Right. Then they started doing stuff like the whole awards. They
Mhm.
started the Kids' Choice Awards, where they
Right.
were giving us the opportunity to pick that show, and they were, celebrating it, or pick the best actor. Or what do you remember from all that? Do you remember the any of the music stars that came out on that?
Oh man, I remember Brandy. Brandy, I think came out on
I
all
think she
that.
came out a couple times. I remember TLC.
Mhm. TLC.
Now, TLC did the theme song for it too.
That's right. That's right.
So I believe Cypress Hill even came out on it.
Did Cypress Hill did they do all that?
I think they
Oh my
did. They
goodness.
did one, yeah.
If I'm remembering this correctly, and I think I could be doing this wrong. I think even I want to say Busta Rhymes. I think did
Coolio,
Coolio. Okay.
yeah, he
Dang.
did. He did Fantastic Voyage on that show.
Wow. Dang. Wow. I mean,
I really see like all that was, I think, really the one of the major shows of SNICK that really lasted, and it really went through, without a whole lot of changes.
right.
Um, because like even Are You Afraid of the Dark, they did have some changes where they stopped for a while and then they came back and did it again. And it was sort of like a remastered idea.
A reboot.
Yeah, sort of like a reboot. That's exactly.
So then, this are some of the acts that were on all that. So you had Aaliyah, Brandy, Monica, TLC, Outcast, Busta Rhymes, Usher, Nas, and the Brat.
Wow.
Yeah,
See,
and
and you know what? That might have been the reason why all that really pulled to kids our age. I mean, it was that hip hop R&B culture that people were
mhm.
just in love with when they were our age.
I can't remember seeing a an R&B or a hip hop act on SNL until afterwards, like way
Yeah.
afterwards. I think I could probably tell you maybe LL Cool J would be on SNL, but I mean, as far as like those acts, like the people that wanted to see,
But you know
like
what?
Brandy, yeah.
Okay, LL Cool J, he was on
Mhm.
all that too, I think one time.
Well, interesting.
Definitely with the culture of the kids during that time for us, I think you definitely see that.
Right.
And you see why the growth of, of SNICK, why it stayed so popular.
They knew that this type of music was up and coming. They knew that these artists were up and coming as we were growing up too, and eventually, we would associate ourselves with this culture because we were growing up at the same time as they were coming up too.
Yeah. And then with that, then you also had the exposure of comedy that really just we now love as we see it. So we
Mhm.
grew up into those other stations then, and that's sort of the way Nickelodeon has always been. It's just one of those channels where they were for the kids. Try to keep it to just the kid friendly stuff. And it's a pretty cool thing that some of these shows, lasted so long that as they did. All that I believe was 94 till whenever they stopped. So that would have been the end of SNICK. I think was what, 2005?
Maybe.
Because then
Let's
they
see.
changed it to SNICK House or something, and it went like a little more pop culture-y stuff.
Really?
Yeah,
Hmm. Officially launched in 1992 and it closed in 2005.
92. Okay,
92 to
so
2005.
okay, so yep. But you know what? That's funny.
Mm.
That's really interesting because at Universal Studios in Orlando, I was there in '04 and '06. So I have a compare and contrast.
Right.
In '04, the Nickelodeon side was there, but it wasn't really active. There wasn't a whole lot going on. You didn't have the shows that you had like when they were actually filming shows from that, because
Mhm.
all that was filmed live there at Nickelodeon Studios.
Right. Right.
So then
Yeah, they even showed like in the outro of the show, they would show like shot at Nickelodeon Studios, and they would show the actual studio line.
exactly. And then in 2006 when I went, by that time the studios was closed.
I remember when I went last to Florida.
It's been changed drastically since then.
So 2011,
Mhm.
and I remember we were walking around, and I remember there was a lot for the old Nickelodeon studios. It was still like the lot was still there,
Yeah.
but it was already broken down. It was already, it was a shell of its former self.
Mhm.
This is where Nickelodeon used to be. This is where they would have, was it Legends of the Hidden Temple? Thank you.
Yeah.
And all that, and Guts, and
exactly.
what was that other show too?
Well, Dave, I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think Fernie has something on his mind there. How about you?
No, no. Nope, not right now.
Double Dare, definitely. I remember that one. I remember the video game one too. Do you remember that one? Where they go inside the video game?
Yeah. I don't remember the name of that one either.
Yeah. So God, those are some old shows I haven't seen in ages. But see, it's funny
Yeah.
because I remember, like with Nickelodeon, I remember a lot of their earlier stuff too. That was earlier on in the day because of the Nicktoons. Because I had a younger sister at the time and a younger brother even, and so they had shows like Gullah Gullah Island. And it was a great show. It was about a family who they lived in like South Carolina, and in one of the island areas there that's off, and they talk about their family life. They break that barrier, they break that fourth wall, and talk,
Mhm.
to you like as if you're there with them. And they're talking about
Interesting.
like their family, and they had this little monster thing. Gola Gola was his name, I think.
Gola. How come this sounds like a really bad Alf knockoff?
Yeah, no. See, Alf was classic, dude. You can't. No, you can't. No, this one was. He looked like a frog, almost.
A frog.
Hmm.
I do not remember this show at all. Nope.
Yeah, it was
Gola Gola. Okay, I'll have to
Gola Island.
do research later on
The name of it.
Gola Gola Island.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. Do you know what? Here we go. Down, or no, through the internet rabbit hole of obscure 90s TV shows.
Yes. That's definitely an episode. Absolutely.
All right. Well, we will plan that.
Indeed.
Well, Fernie, I like what we've talked about tonight. How about you?
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
I think what was your favorite snack from that time? Think about your Saturday night. You would have it every Saturday, every Friday night if you could. What would it have been?
Pizza.
We said snack, not meal, sir.
No, that is a snack for me.
All right. See, mine. Oh, dude, I don't know about that one. That one's a.
I remember you having specifically
Popsicles.
some popsicles and the raviolis.
Raviolis. There we go. Yeah, you're right.
Chef Boyardee would have these spaghetti things in a can. Or the raviolis, the best.
Right. So, and those I've probably had in my pantry here for probably about 6 months. maybe a year. I every once in a while will warm them up, but yeah, definitely, it's one of those. Uh, what was your
And
favorite show?
wow, from favorite snack to favorite show, huh?
Yep.
from that SNICK era.
Yeah, we'll say SNICK
Well,
era. Okay,
so we're gonna stay with
SNICK.
the.
We'll
So we're gonna
stay
stay with the
within
SNICK.
SNICK.
Okay. There were a lot of good shows on SNICK because Rugrats was a
Okay,
SNICK
let's
show.
do this. Yeah, you're right. Let's do top 3.
Top 3. All right, top
Yeah.
3 SNICK. Okay, Clarissa Explains It All.
Okay.
Real Monsters, and Rugrats.
Oh, wow. Okay. Mine probably would have been Clarissa Explains It All was definitely one of them. Pete and Pete was one of them.
God, see, I thought it's so hard.
Yeah. I really liked Pete and Pete.
Pete and Pete was
Something
really
about it
good.
was just it was very drawing.
Yes, absolutely.
And then my third one, I think Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah, that. I'm not going to argue with that at all. Not going to argue it at all.
That would definitely be the top 3. Because Are You Afraid of the Dark was just the best way to end the night, I think. It really did have that thing. With Are You Afraid of the Dark, the character who played the I don't know if you remember him, but he was always this mad doctorish type character, had a big goatee, sort of bigger gentleman. He was actually in a movie. Do you remember the movie X-Men?
Of course.
Okay. Do you remember the fight scene where he tells the guy, "Hey, you can do it, it's free for all, you can do whatever you want, but don't hit him in the balls." The EMC,
Okay.
that guy was the same guy from Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Shut up. No, it wasn't.
Yes, that actor. I want to say the last one was like Tarber or something. Just look up Dr. Vink, Vink. Not Fink,
Vink.
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 Or Professor Vink, I think was what he went by in the show.
That's hilarious.
We'll go ahead and start wrapping up for the night.
So, so our social media is Cutscenes and Clotheslines at TikTok, or Cutscenes and Clotheslines at our Instagram.
Folks, you can also find our information on our Spotify page. Yes, sir. We're on, by the way, too.
We're on YouTube also. Oh, boy.
We are also on Apple.
Oh, we're on Apple now.
All right. So, this is Cutscenes and Clotheslines, folks. And you know what? We're the place where nostalgia hits a little harder than a folding chair shot to the head.
Oh,
I hope everyone has a good night. Fernie, I hope you have a good night too, sir.
You too.
I hope you have a great night, and goodbye, everybody.